Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast I run over here on youtube.com/UC Campbell. And this is much like earlier today that got released, a special episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. We released our Survivor Series predictions a little bit earlier today. This one is going to be for NXT TakeOver War Games 2. It will be predictions for the second variation of War Games that NXT has done, and it will be a very interesting show. And the matter of fact, their formatting to it has even changed a little bit to go along with. In the terms of the formatting, usually NXT TakeOvers are 5 matches. They're about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, somewhere in there. And they're usually only the 5 matches. This time around, it is going to be a 4-match card based upon everything. It'll be interesting to see how they play along with all of with those particular changes to go along with that, and how much time will be given to some of these particular matches to go along with it. So, like I said, it'll be a very interesting one to see where they go with everything. And let's get ourselves right into it. It is going to be for the first match we'll be going with will be the Aleister Black Johnny Gargano match. This is an interesting match based upon the stories and everything that be going along with it. You have Johnny Gargano, where he has been basically all consumed by his wanting of getting the NXT title off of Tommaso Ciampa, that he has revealed himself as the attacker to Aleister Black from the previous takeover. And of course, Aleister Black is looking for revenge to go along with that. This will be an interesting match going forward, and I'm actually going to go with an area that might be a little bit maybe a little bit different to for some people, but I am actually going to pick Johnny Gargano to pick up the victory in this one. Simply put, they have got him to this point of he's like consumed completely by wanting to get revenge on Tommaso Ciampa, that he has realized that maybe he has to play things a little bit dirty to get what he wants. And I think to the point of where they're at with the storyline at this point in time, it actually calls for a Johnny Gargano victory versus maybe an Aleister Black victory in this one, simply because they almost have to tell this story that's like, yes, he's become consumed, he's starting to do things that he typically wouldn't do, but maybe they should justify it a little bit by having him get a victory in some way, shape, or form before they continue the rebuild and maybe do some kind of redemption story for him to go along with it. So I really think that Johnny Gargano is going to pick up the victory in this particular match. It will be an interesting one to see how they play it off. Maybe they do have Aleister Black just get his revenge. Who knows? We'll see how they play off this one. In all fairness, and with the NXT matches, the way they can go with storylines, it's very hard to pick these particular matches in some cases to go along with it. I mean, in some cases you could definitely see where they're going, and others you don't always know. I'm kind of going out on a limb just a little bit and saying that Johnny Gargano is going to pick up the victory on this one, because maybe they're going a different route with the Gargano storyline and where he's going to end up being at some point in time. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays off. So up next, we are going to have the NXT Women's Title match, which is going to be Kairi Sane going up against Shayna Baszler in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This one's always really hard to call on these particular ones, because there's the whole aspect of, are they going to start hot-shotting the title around, everything to go along with that. They haven't really done things like that since the since the Samoa Joe Shinsuke Nakamura with the feud where they did change the title multiple times. It's not something they typically do in NXT, where we did get the title change at the last NXT TakeOver, but we also got another title change at Evolution to go along with it. So it's definitely hard to say where they're going with everything on this one. I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler picking up the victory in this one. I don't think they're going to hotshot that title too much. The only thing that I could see where Shayna's going to not pick up the victory is if they end up calling her up to the main roster after this. I don't know if that's going to be the case or if they're going to hold off on putting her up onto the main roster, because maybe they want her to stay down in NXT for a little while the other 4 MMA horsewomen who are just beginning their training they have somebody to kind of take advice from, everything to go along with that as they start their training. So maybe they decide to keep her in NXT for a little bit longer to help that out for a little while on that side. So we'll see how it ends up playing out. I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler on this particular one. And like I said, I just don't know I don't think they're going to hotshot the title too much. Don't get me wrong, it wouldn't be a bad thing. And it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, which if you've really taken a look at many of the NXT shows in the past, the 2 out of 3 falls match has always been the signature match of NXT, especially in the early days on that one. And it's been a while since we've seen a 2 out of 3 falls match on a takeover, which I think the last one was when Gargano and Ciampa were still teaming up as DIY to go up against the Revival. So it has been a little while but since we've seen one. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this particular one for 2 out of 3 falls. So this is going to bring us up to War Games. To the War Games match is going to be the Undisputed Era going up against Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders. This will be an interesting one. They definitely said they're going to be giving this one a lot of time, because I think they may mention in the conference calls, like, the War Games match takes a lot of time. So it's one of the reasons why that there's only 4 matches on the show versus having the traditional 5. In this particular one, I feel that they are going to go with the Undisputed Era picking up the victory. I know it doesn't necessarily always like, it shouldn't necessarily always be that way, because the Undisputed Era did stand tall on the Go Home show. They've got the advantage and everything. It's saying that they should lose, but I think they're gonna win this one to go along with it. So I'm gonna go with the Undisputed Era to pick up the victory, and maybe, just maybe, if they go really classic War Games style in certain ways, maybe we get a turn on one of the teams to go along with it. Should be interesting to see where they go with everything down the line. But yeah, I will be going with the Undisputed Era. So this brings us to the final match of the night, which is going to be Tommaso Ciampa going up against the Velveteen Dream. This match is going to be good. I know this one's going to be good, and there's a piece of me that wants to pick Velveteen Dream, but it's not time to take that title off of Tommaso Ciampa quite yet. Tommaso Ciampa has been by far the best heel around in NXT or WWE to begin with. And honestly, you can even probably put it to any of wrestling as well, that he may be the best heel out there in any company to go along with it. I'm going to pick Tommaso Ciampa to pick up the victory in this one. I don't know if there's going to necessarily be any interference. Traditionally, when it comes to NXT takeovers, you don't see a lot of interference in matches, or interference where they weren't already out there to begin with. Sometimes you see it with managers getting involved and everything to go along with that, but traditionally you don't get a lot of run-ins or anything on that side during the matches themselves, though this one would totally call for There's a piece of me that says that maybe they don't do a clean finish on this one, in some way, shape, or form. They have it to where Velveteen Dream is going to look like he's going to pick up the victory, and either they continue this thing with Lars Sullivan with Velveteen Dream, and Lars Sullivan cost him. But here's one that could be out there a little bit, that after the whole Johnny Gargano match with Aleister Black earlier in the night, he because if you saw because if you saw it during his promo that he cut on why he did what he did to Aleister, he said there's only one person who's going to take that title off of Tommaso Ciampa, and that's Johnny Gargano. And he's going to he's going to do everything in his power to be the one that does it. So does he cost Velveteen Dream the match in order to be the person that takes the title off of Ciampa down the line? It will be a very interesting thing to see where they're going with. I am going to go with Tommaso Ciampa to pick up the victory in this match. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to go about it, though. And yeah, that is actually going to be it for predictions. Like I said, it's only a 4-match card this time around. It's different from the traditional 5. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to go about these particular matches. I do not know if I'm going to be doing a live reactions on Saturday to the NXT TakeOver, and also on Sunday I don't know if I'm going to be doing live reactions to the Survivor Series pay-per-view at this point in time. Those are kind of up in the air at this moment, but we'll play everything by ear and see how everything goes off. And with that being said, everybody, I hope you guys take care today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So peace out, take care, and have a great rest of your day.